I think the temperature's not 60 because we flat out would not be able to handle it right now. Too much going on. We had a big trade for the Bills, a couple trades for the Sabres, another win streak. They're tied for first. They have a 5-game homestand. If it were 60 on a Friday today, we would not be able to handle it to be in the 50s. Jeremy and Joe, good morning, everybody. We're going to talk with Mark Grote of The Score in Chicago about DJ Moore, who the Bills acquire with a second-round pick in exchange for DJ Moore in a fifth. Mark, good morning. It's Jeremy and Joe. Thanks for taking some time today.
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you guys doing?
We're all right. Good. The DJ Moore trade. Want to talk to you about that? The player the Bills are getting, the return, the trade that was. I think a lot of the reaction around here when they trade for Moore was, okay, this is a player that rates in the league. And then I think a lot of the reaction was the price seemed a little steep to be a second-round pick as the primary piece, Mark. So do you feel like that's appropriate? Are the Bears feeling like they did really well in the trade of DJ Moore?
Yeah, I think they should. That was my original reaction as well. As I was on the air doing our show yesterday when the news broke, and at first it was pretty ambiguous as to whom or what the Bears would get in return. And I was hearing mid-round pick, which would connote third to fifth, and I was like, okay. And then all of a sudden we hear that it's a second-round pick, and I don't think the Bears could have done much better than that. I think that is terrific for the Bears' sake. But Buffalo is getting a really good product. I don't know that DJ Moore, you look at him and say, yeah, that's a slam dunk, no doubt about it, prototype number one wide receiver in the league. But he's a pretty good wide receiver who, when he in his first year with the Bears with Justin Fields, who we all know did not work out here or anywhere for that matter at this point, over 1,300 yards that season. In 2024, almost 1,000-yard season again, 966. There was a dip this year. But yeah, to answer your question, I think you nailed it. Second-round pick, pretty good for the Bears. But you will get a player, plug-and-play player who will be productive for the Buffalo Bills this year, especially with the quarterback that you guys have there.
And he's been healthy, right? He's been available a lot, and productivity with different quarterbacks. I mean, respect to Caleb Williams, do you feel like Bills fans that think he could find another gear here, find another level, should reasonably think so, given that he's playing with Josh Allen?
Yeah, absolutely, and you're right. And I heard in the intro too. Like he's an Iron Man. I mean, he played in every single game with the Chicago Bears, and we watched him limp off the field, hobble off the field, dizzy off the field. He was hit below the waist, if you will, in a game. Spent the night at a hospital. Took a couple days off of practice, and it was back on the field. So this guy is a legit Iron Man who will play in every single game unless something really, really awful happens. But he should be a friend to Josh Allen. You know, I think the best way that DJ Moore was used in Chicago, yeah, you could absolutely throw downfield to him. We saw some epic plays that he made in a Bears uniform, some of the biggest catches really in franchise history this past year. But one of the best ways to use DJ Moore is to get the ball to him in space and let him cook. The Bears used him out of the backfield a number of times as well as a running back. But the idea is, you know, this is not a big, tall dude. It's a guy who can be shifty and you can use in all sorts of different ways. So, I think Josh Allen is going to be a really good help for him. And also the fact that he gets reunited with, and I'm sure you guys have talked about this, with Joe Brady, the new head coach of the Bills, who was his offensive coordinator in Carolina, where he was extremely productive, obviously, for 2 years, which is why the Bears traded for him in the first place.
Well, how concerned should we be about what happened last year in Chicago when his career total or his totals went down, but he was on the most productive offense that he had ever been on? Was that just a product of the offense, or is there a concern that there is a decline here?
Well, that's a great question. And, you know, we've dealt the word that has come up in Chicago over the last 2 years under Caleb Williams specifically has been chemistry issues with Caleb Williams in particular. I mean, in Caleb Williams' first year, DJ Moore had some body language issues, some plays where it looked like he gave up on plays. And when Ben Johnson first took over as the Bears head coach last year, he opened up to the media and said that they had to address that there were some things they had to address about DJ Moore, about the body language and looking like he was giving up on plays. So DJ caught some criticism for that. We all wondered about the chemistry between the two. There were games in this past year, to your point, where we'd come on the air on Monday and be like, oh, the Bears won, blah, 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 blah. But what was going on with DJ Moore? Why did DJ Moore only get one target? Why did he only have 2 catches in the game, to the point where when he finally did start to have some big games, big, loud, extraordinary games down the stretch, I remember, talking to him about, did you need a game like that? Because he just wasn't getting the ball. He took exception to my question, which I understand because he had just had a spectacular night. But there appeared to be some sort of disconnect at times between Caleb Williams and DJ Moore. So, that's the whole thing here too, guys, is, DJ Moore has had a litany of young quarterbacks, some of those who are now thriving, like Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold, but he was sort of the test driver for these guys. He was the test driver for Justin Fields, and then he became the same for Caleb Williams. So even before DJ Moore was traded, I was saying out loud, DJ Moore's best fit is going to be on a team with a good to great quarterback that is ready to win. So I think this puts him in an ideal spot, and I don't anticipate that there will be chemistry issues with Joe Brady and Josh Allen in Buffalo. It feels like with Buffalo being ready to win a Super Bowl, like you should, and you guys could talk about this better than I, but you got to fall in line on a team like that. Like he was the star here. Now you fall in line when you go to Buffalo.
I'll tell you that test drive, the quarterback's point, is like my favorite one I've heard since this trade. And it's a good one to get me to, like, yeah, he doesn't have to test drive Josh Allen. This thing hopefully can hit right away. The thing I think, Mark, that we're hoping works here is last year the Bills had last couple of years, the passing offense has been limited by their outside receivers. They can't get anybody open down the field. And Brandon Cooks comes in and gives them a little spark. But the reputation for Moore, and the numbers back it up, that he gets open down the field vertically, 20-yard plus air yard throws. He's got 50 or more catches of that nature, which is like top 5 in the league. So is that part of his game? Is all the juice still there in terms of getting open downfield?
Yeah, it is. Like, he doesn't appear to be a guy that has, at this point, and he's still young, obviously, that has not lost a step, any of that kind of stuff. I don't look at him as an elite route runner or elite downfield guy in any way, shape, or form. But if you use him that way and you put him in those positions in which to succeed, he is more than capable. And he's a gamer, too, in that way. And I know that, players obviously don't have much of a choice in the matter, so he shouldn't get a medal for this. But he's down with whatever. Get me the ball. And, there'll be times in games where you're like, where's DJ Moore? And then all of a sudden he'll just pop up, as you said, down the field and make a big play. And then you'll be like, oh, there's DJ Moore. So he has all the capabilities of getting open just about anywhere on the field. And then, as I said at the beginning, really good, too. Once he gets the ball in his hands, he is looking to make a play. He's elusive. Like I said, he is tough. He's not a guy that wants to go down on first contact, even despite not being a really big guy. But, yeah, he does have versatility within the route running.
And then, obviously here it's a lot of what are you going to do in the biggest games and in the playoffs. That was his first taste of the playoffs last year, but it went about as well as you could imagine. I mean, he was doing more in the playoff games than he was averaging in the regular season.
Yeah. I mean, he made some really massive catches for the Bears. Unfortunately, the final play of the Bears season has been under the microscope since the season ended, and it wasn't like people were no, Pete, I should check that. A lot of people were blaming DJ Moore for what happened. And just to refresh your audience, last play against the Rams in overtime, Caleb Williams and the Bears were marching into LA Rams territory. They were getting close to field goal range where they could have won that game and advanced to the NFC title game. Caleb Williams throws the ball to DJ Moore in his general direction. The ball is intercepted by Cam Curl. You go back and you watch the tape, and there's all sorts of theories on it. Did DJ Moore give up on the play? If you watch it, was DJ Moore injured on the play? If you watch it, and what it came down to is this big ambiguous statements from the Bears, and with Caleb Williams saying that there was a communication issue. You know, we didn't get to talk to DJ Moore. He was not there on locker cleanout day. There was no explanation from him. Finally, some reporters spoke to him at the Super Bowl, and he just uttered the same thing that Caleb had said, and that was communication issue. But that was sort of fitting for some of his time here with the Bears, with the body language and giving up on plays. But at this point, I don't know if we'll ever know exactly what happened on that play. But that did go under the microscope in a big way around here.
Mark Grote joining us of The Score in Chicago. Tremaine Edmonds being cut loose by the Bears. Like, the Bears are, I mean, you could tell us what they're doing in terms of cleaning things out to make a big run, in free agency, and maybe a big trade. But
Crosby, maybe.
Is it Max Crosby? Is it, something else? But specifically on Tremaine Edmonds, former Bill, when he left Buffalo, I think the thought was, nice player. They didn't want to pay him that kind of money. Now that he's available, how did it go in Chicago? If you're not talking about a big contract for Tremaine, does he still contribute? Is he the player that he was in Buffalo?
Yeah, that's so funny because I remember when they signed Tremaine Edmonds, and I spoke to some people in Buffalo. I just kind of getting the report on him and hearing, he's good guy, good player. And I was like, wait a minute, I thought Tremaine Edmonds was better than that. After Tremaine Edmonds was here for 3 years on that 4-year, $72 million deal, the way I described Tremaine Edmonds, steady, if not spectacular. You guys probably know this. Great guy, great locker room dude, good leader, smooth. Probably had his best year this past year for the Bears, but I don't know that he ever quite made the impact that I thought he would make. And remember, when he came here to the Bears, he replaced an incredibly talented and incredibly popular player in Roquan Smith. So that's what we were always comparing him to. So on the overall, it was kind of like, decent player, but didn't really move the meters. What he does do, though, to the other point you guys were bringing up, he creates $15 million in cap space. With Drew Dahlman, which was a big surprise party around here, the Bears center retiring at the age of 27. That created another $10 million in cap space. And then the DJ Moore move, all to say that the Bears all of a sudden go to being in the red as far as the salary cap is concerned, to be having $44 million in cap space. And they can now potentially, you guys brought up the name Max Crosby, that is in play now, if they want to give up the 2 first-round picks, but then they would have to pay him. They have the money to do that. Right now, gentlemen, if you really want to get into the weeds on the Bears, they have 0 safeties right now. They don't have many linebackers. And they are hurting on the offensive line because of the retirement of Drew Dahlman, and they don't have a left tackle as it stands right now. So the Bears are needing to hoard salary cap space to go out and fill these positions after a year in which they won their first playoff game in 15 years.
Mark Grote on the Western Hotline. Last thing, the internet seems to think that the trade of DJ Moore means that Luther Burden's going to the moon. So for this former Luther Burden and still Luther Burden fan, how did he look, and is that true? Do you think that's happening for him?
Well, I think that's a possibility. I mean, his rookie development to me was perfect this year because there were some imperfections early on, and that was because he essentially missed the offseason program, which left me in a place like, oh, man, because I've seen receivers come in, and when they miss the offseason program, they don't produce. It was rough early on for Luther Burden. He came on strong. The ferocity with which he runs after catching the ball is second to none. So he's definitely a guy that is going to be, if nothing else, expected to continue on that trajectory. But there's 2 other guys that you got to look at, too, and I think there's more pressure on Rome Odunze right now. He was drafted in the first round with Caleb Williams. He did not have a great year last year. Some of it was injuries. And then the other dude that's going to be dependent on heavily for the Bears is Colston Loveland, who the tight end, their first-round tight end, who was their leading receiver this past year with just over 700 yards receiving. So there are some candidates, and it is those 3 guys, good of you to bring it up, that made, at the end of the day, that made DJ Moore expendable, that made the Bears feel confident that they could get rid of, who I still thought, by the way, guys, in DJ Moore, was their best receiver despite not being as productive in the numbers as he had been in previous years.
Very good. Mark Grote of The Score. Mark, thanks very much for the time.
You got it, guys.
I'm feeling better about it as time goes on, and I like the test drive point a lot. And I just think if you got yourself an upgraded Brandon Cooks, what did Josh Allen do as soon as you got a guy like that? He threw him the ball a lot. And this has always been, for me, the point about the importance of someone good out there is it is a force multiplier. I get it. You think Josh Allen is amazing. He is. Get him something that doubles his output. Get him something that multiplies his abilities. Don't just count on him to do it alone. And I think that DJ Moore is going to get peppered with targets all over the field.